Hi, I'm Chris Swanson of Toastmasters at Memorial Hospital. I'm going to share with you some practical speech evaluation tips that will make it easier for you to give more effective evaluations. Let's look at the old-fashioned way of giving speech evaluations. The speaker gives you her manual. As she speaks, you write answers to all the questions provided in the manual. When it's your turn to give the evaluation, you read the answers to each question in order. Kind of a yarner. Yes, you've answered all the questions, and yes, you've done what you're supposed to, but chances are the evaluation falls short of being as useful and memorable as you had hoped. Let's try something different. Here's an evaluation formula that I use and one that helped me win the District 26 evaluation contest in 2006. Step 1, take notes. The first thing I do is quickly read the speech manual to get an understanding of the speaker's objectives. I then put the manual aside. That's right. I don't need it right now. I'll come back to it later. Instead, I take out a good old-fashioned blank sheet of paper. Lined is preferred. And I draw a line straight down the middle. At the top of the left column, I write what I liked. At the top of the right column, I write what can be improved. Now as the speaker speaks, I jot down everything I observe in the appropriate column. Generally, there are 3 things I look for. 1, speech organization. Did it flow well? Did it have a clear opening and a conclusion? 2, the speech mechanics. I look for the vocal variety, the eye contact, the gestures. And 3, speech emotion. How convincing was the speech, and was I engaged? Now for the less experienced speakers, more of my comments tend to be about speech organization and the mechanics. For the more experienced speakers, more of my comments tend to be about advanced mechanics and definitely the emotions. By the time the speech is done, I should have a healthy laundry list in each column, looking a little bit like this. It's now time for step 2, quickly preparing for the evaluation. And I mean quickly. There may be other things that are going on in the meeting. There are speeches, table talks, and so forth, but it still hardly seems like enough time to prepare the evaluation. So keeping the evaluation simple is the key, and here's how I do it. I first go to my what I liked column. I've written a lot, but I don't want to read everything. It's way too much information, and I simply don't have enough time to read it all. I need to narrow things down. So I look at it, spend some time, and I find the one thing I absolutely liked most, something that was special, something above expectation for this speech manual assignment. In this case, I really liked how Susan tied her whole speech with a common theme. After each idea, she came back to the main theme to emphasize it. I draw a big star next to the comment. Next, I find 3 more things I liked about Susan's speech. These comments should probably be related to her speech assignment. Susan's assignment was to use props, so I number 3 positive comments related to her props. In this example, 1, the props were appropriate. They helped me better understand each of her points. 2, the props were big. I could see them all the way from the back of the room. That was smart. And 3, the props were organized in front of her well. It wasn't awkward for her to reach for her props as she needed them. That avoided distractions, and it didn't waste any time. Good, but I'm not done. Next, I need to give Susan a recommendation to improve something for next time. I'd be remiss if I didn't. I now look at the what can be improved column, and I find something that's appropriate for her speaking level. I spend a little time, review the notes that I've made, and I want to find the one thing that I think would help take her speaking ability to the next level. Here I see that she has a nervous habit of clasping her hands and playing with her wedding ring. Ooh, now that's distracting. Susan is better than that. I draw a big circle around my written comment. There, I'm done. And I have plenty of time to spare, and I can enjoy the rest of the meeting and answer the questions in her manual. On to step 3, deliver the evaluation. As Susan's evaluator, I make a point to accomplish two things, and they're the most important things. Educate Susan and motivate Susan. The evaluation I've prepared will do exactly that. It starts positive, gives her something to improve for next time, and then finishes with a whole bunch of positive encouragement for her. I've also kept my evaluation simple. There's not a lot that she has to remember. And I'm certainly not going to read her a long, dull laundry list. No, that's called a tossed salad evaluation. Boring, forgettable. We want to deliver a main entree evaluation, something useful and something memorable. I've now shaken hands with the Toastmaster or the General Evaluator, and at this time, it's tempting to thank the Toastmaster, greet all my fellow Toastmasters, guests, and especially the speaker, and I might even begin my evaluation by telling Susan, hey, I really liked your speech. I would like to hear more of these. Only now, I've wasted 20 to 40 valuable seconds saying a whole lot of nothing. I only have 2 to 3 minutes to give an evaluation. Not very much time, so I don't want to waste any of it. Instead, I jump right into the first 3 things on my what I like list, and I bang them out in the first 30 to 4 seconds. Great. This gives me 2 to 2.5 minutes to focus on the really good stuff, but I've already given her useful information. Now, giving her something specific and memorable that she can improve for next time and ending with a super positive note is where I want to spend my time, and it gives her a whole bunch of encouragement. I have a couple of more notes for you. When I give an evaluation, I try to avoid saying you need to, you want to, or you have to. Those words can come across as condescending and rather demanding. The speaker or the audience may not always agree with you. Instead, I like to use I statements. I recommend, I liked, I suggest. They're simply my opinions, and the speaker can choose to heed them or not. I also try to avoid adjectives. Words like very and good aren't very good words. To tell Susan I thought she did a good job with her gestures doesn't help her much. Instead, I try to say what I liked and why I liked them. I liked how you held the prop in the air and then pointed to it, Susan. Help me understand the point you were trying to make. Ah, now that feedback is useful. By the time I'm done with the entire evaluation, I've accomplished my job. Susan has learned something, and she's motivated for her next speech. Best of all, the evaluation was useful, and the evaluation was memorable. Susan can read the rest of my notes I wrote in her manual later. Try this evaluation formula sometime and see if it helps you give more effective evaluations.